Macros, Mindset, and Muscles.
I'm Coach James.
And I'm Coach Brittany.
We're here to give you the truth about health and fitness.
No gimmicks, no bullshit, just facts.
Good morning, Phoenix fam.
It's an early morning.
It is an early morning. We're actually getting this done and out of the way early. And we're going to do something a little different today. You know, we've been doing this podcast for going on 3 years now, and we always do episodes that are like how to do this and 7 blah, 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 why. And, you know,
Just listed.
General helpful topics. And I feel like this is still going to be a helpful topic, but in a different way. Because today we're actually going to talk about the things we actually don't fucking like about the fitness industry. Working in the fitness industry.
It's going to be a good one.
And having coached now for 7+ years and having gone through my own journey, there are just things that I see on social media that just grind my gears and absolutely drive me crazy.
Get to hear about the stuff that just drives us nuts.
Yeah, so we're kind of excited to talk about this. Not really excited. I actually wish that we didn't have to talk about this because people are just slimy.
Yeah.
They're slimy and they spread misinformation, and they actually make it that much harder for you to decipher and figure out what's real and what's not.
That's one of the big ones. That's one of the things that irks me.
Yeah.
About social medias.
And, you know, it all comes down to one, like people are gullible. And I'm sorry if you're listening to this and you feel attacked. That's not the intention here. But people are gullible. They see something, they see a video, and they take it as gold, right? And they're like, oh, according to this article on Google, blah, 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 blah. Like Dr. Google, like you got Google too. Like you can do your own research. You know, you want research that is peer reviewed. You don't want research by Joe Schmo. Like you want this to be legit research that backs whatever you're looking at.
Yeah, this might be just something somebody tried in their garage and they're like, my study shows that this happens.
Yeah.
It's like, what study, bro?
But, you know, just because people throw around big fancy words, it doesn't mean that what they're saying is actually factual.
Yeah.
So, get started, shall we?
Yeah, I don't even know where we're going to start. Like, this is unstructured. We don't have a outline. It's just so these may be in any kind of, I guess, in any kind of order. I don't know. Do you have some kind of order in your head?
I mean, I don't have some kind of order, but I have an idea of what I'm going to talk about. Because as a woman, right?
Oh, okay.
I'm going to say that women are generally targeted about this stuff more than men. But as women, it's like, oh, do these exercises to lose your mom pooch, or 10x your glute size by doing this specific thing. And then the video demonstrates some body weight exercises or some bullshit that you can do at home, which there is nothing wrong with doing body weight exercises at home. So don't flip this around and don't put words into our mouths here. But the problem is that what they're really doing is selling you on a program with false promises. They're looping you in based on your insecurities. Your insecurity being, oh, your mama pooch, right? That lower abdomen area, especially if you're a mom who's had C-sections or multiple kids or whatever. Like we hold area in that lower abdomen, or we hold fat in that lower abdomen area. And people are targeting you based on your insecurities.
Yeah, they're misleading on purpose. A lot of times the person who's selling this product or program or whatever is like, I am a mom and this is what I did. And I guarantee what they did to achieve their body goals, the way they look now, it's not this little program that they're selling for $9.99.
No, it was that mommy makeover.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly.
Or that BBL.
Yeah,
like
even when it comes to men and stuff like that, the guys that are like, oh, this is the most optimal way to train, or this little trick on doing triceps. This massive person with this huge amount of muscle did not build that off this one little exercise. Like they got to a state and they're using their body now to promote their own ideas, and it's not what actually built that body or.
Exactly. And this goes for both sexes here, right?
Yeah.
So we have men and women being targeted, but they're targeting your insecurities because you're gullible and you really, really feel insecure about this and you want to improve this area and you're willing to do just about anything that looks easy or, oh, I only have to do that.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I have to
This
do.
person figured it out. Like there was this secret that nobody knew, and it was in my kitchen cabinet this whole time. I just had to add it with water and drink it in the morning and do these couple of exercises. Like, no, it takes more than some apple cider vinegar and some body weight exercises.
Yeah. So, don't fall prey to that BS. If you just want to follow this program because you want to be more active, like the program that the person's selling, maybe it is some booty targeted exercises that are body weight. That's great. Like if you're just trying to be more active
Or get started.
That's fine. But don't buy into the program with the expectation to get, 10x your glute size or whatever. Like
That's not
muscle size, like your muscle doesn't increase unless you are progressively overloading and eating enough to, stimulate muscle growth.
It's lifting heavy.
Yeah.
And
You're going to
for a
have to
long
lift
period of time.
heavy. You're not doing cardio type workouts, where you're lifting for 30 seconds and resting for 10 or whatever. Like you're lifting heavy, you're resting appropriately and you're getting progressively heavier, like you're increasing those loads over time.
And not just that, your nutrition's got to be on point too. If you're trying to make those type of gains, you're not going to just accidentally grow big glutes, eating whatever you wanted to.
Yeah, it's intentional. Like you have to be intentional, and it doesn't come from
intentional, like you said.
Doesn't come from body weight at home exercises while eating 800 calories.
Yeah, not happening.
It ain't it. And fellas, like you're not going to grow your chest by doing 100 push-ups.
No, you'll get really good at doing push-ups. You will. You'll get really good.
But you know what I'm talking about? Like, oh, see this calisthenic program? Like, here's some calisthenics you can do. Like, that's great. Do calisthenics if you want to be more active and whatnot. But if you want to grow your muscles, not just build endurance in your muscles, because I feel like, at first with push-ups and things like that, like you might be progressively overloading, but then you kind of get to a point where it turns from like hypertrophy or whatever to more of an endurance
it's just
type.
An endurance thing.
Yeah.
At that point, like, yes, if you can't do 10 push-ups and then you start doing push-ups and then you get to 10, then you go to 20, you're going to that muscle is going to get stronger. It's going to get a little bit bigger, but you're not going to progress like you would think as much as somebody that's doing resistance training. Yeah, you're just going to be able to do more push-ups.
Yeah. So quit buying into these plans that target your insecurities. Yeah. Do your research. Be honest about the program. Look at it. And, what are your goals? Is your goal, like I said, is your goal just to be more active? Then fine. I mean, any program that you do would work. Do you just genuinely like this person? Do you want to support them? Cool. As long as you're not buying into their fake promises and misleading, like, headlines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just understand what you're getting yourself into.
If it sounds too good to be true, then it is.
Yeah. If it was that easy,
everybody would be super fit.
Yeah, everybody would have those type of results. It wouldn't be so hard.
People would be walking around with accidental glute gains. And
like, oops, I accidentally grew my glutes again.
Oh my gosh, I'm accidentally a bodybuilder now.
Yeah.
I guess I'll do stuff.
It doesn't work like that.
Nope.
So I think that's one of the big things like that I could think of off the top of my head immediately is the fake programs and promises and do these exercises, blah, blah, blah.
Well, right now, and also, this is my own art. And right now, all over the fitness industry, whether it's YouTube, social media, whatever, it's all about the most optimal. This is the only way. This is the most optimal this on training. And like, I hate it. I hate it because it gets people like overthinking this whole thing. Like when you're getting started, like, just doing the basics. The basics just work. The basics work. Just sticking to the basics. And then, I don't know, it just irks me.
You want to elaborate further on that?
Well, there's just so many, the studies show that this, using the movement at the bottom half of the movement gives more gains than versus the top half of the movement. And if somebody's just starting out and they don't even know how to do the movement correctly, and their form isn't there yet, or there's no diet involved. Like there's so many things and like
that are more important.
so
than
much
the
more
most
important.
optimal way.
Yeah, then focusing on the bottom half of the movement more than the top. Like, come on now. Like, let's focus on like getting your protein in.
Yeah, I can understand that. Optimal, I think, for most people, is just what works best for their
Well,
routine and their life. And optimal, like fine tuning things. Maybe after you've been doing this for years, and maybe your gains have slowed down, or maybe you're not progressing like you used to, which is completely normal, by the way. But maybe you're at that point where you can look at things more optimally and start making those changes. But most people don't need optimal at this time. They just
Yeah.
need consistency.
Exactly. And there's a lot that goes into play with that too. And like your own body mechanics, like how your body is. Like some people like myself have very long femurs. So certain movements feel a little different versus somebody that's shorter when it comes to doing squats or whatever it is. I hate when people just throw that word optimal all the time. Optimal. Everything's optimal. Most optimal.
How about when people say just do these exercises to target fat in this area?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Like, oh, do these exercises to target your belly fat, or do these exercises to target your hip dips. Y'all, no matter, you could do 5,000 fucking crunches right now, and it's not going to make your abs more visible.
Not at all. Not at all.
Like, you cannot target fat, period. If you want to have more visible abs, you have to get your nutrition in check, because visible abs come from a low level of body fat. If you have body fat covering your abs, no amount of exercise, like targeted exercise, is going to specifically target the fat in that area.
Nope.
And
it'd be funny if you could, though. It'd be like, all right, Monday, I'm targeting my belly fat. Tuesday, it's my thigh fat.
yeah.
Wednesday, that's my tricep fat. Like,
Yeah, my bra fat.
my bra fat.
It sure would be nice if it worked that way, but I still wouldn't do all that fucking core work.
No, I hate that stuff. It's terrible. I mean, I'm just not good at it.
Look, and here's the thing, right? It starts at a young age. So when I was in high school, I used to get like the women's magazine and like 17 and stuff like that. And they would always have an exercise section, and it would be like, do these exercise to have summer 6-pack abs or whatever. And I would literally take those magazine pages out and I would put them on my closet door. And like, I would look at them and I'm like, I'm going to do this. And I never fucking did it. I remember I told my dad I wanted a ab lounge for Christmas one year. Like, I'm not even lying. This is a true story. And
Is that
I was
the thing
like,
that flips you upside down?
no, it's like in a chair and you're literally just like doing a,
Oh, yeah.
just
I
like
was
a
thinking the
blue chair.
inversion thing.
But, I told him I wanted it because I wanted to start working on my body, like something was wrong with my body, which it wasn't. I was fit in high school. But he got me that ab chair, and you think I ever use it? No, we ended up using it to like hold jackets and shit like that, Like all these things that like prey on your insecurities. It goes back
Gimmicks.
to the first thing, right? Like you're like, oh, I only have to do that? Okay. Because that sounds way better than like, oh, you just need to eat right, sleep enough, drink enough water, hit enough steps,
Yeah.
like all the boring shit that's not like,
It's not sexy.
it's not sexy, it's not attractive. It's not as appealing as like, oh, just use this and you'll have abs.
Yeah. Well, that's where it goes into like the supplement industry too. And that's a whole nother thing that I hate.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to sports supplements.
Fat burners.
Fat burners, yeah.
Everybody wants fat burners, but like a fat burner doesn't actually burn fat. It's just the name. And here's why, like a fat burner, right? It can help suppress your appetite, which could lead to fat loss if you're in a diet phase or whatever. But if you're just eating whatever the fuck you want and you take a fat burner, like, congratulations, you probably like have a little bit more energy because some of them have caffeine in them.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it is. That and a little thermogenic, so it's heating you up.
Yeah, you're getting hot.
You get hot, sweating a little bit more. Testosterone boosters. That's another one. And if you're looking at supplements, you really look at the advertisement or what's on the box. And like, so they have to be really slick on how they word things because it can't actually say that it does something or they'll get shut down and it'll get pulled from the shelf. So they like words like may promote, uh,
May promote fat loss
Yep.
in conjunction with a healthy diet and exercise routine.
May promote testosterone increases over Studies show that it may, like, no, you're pretty much just saying really fancy that it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
But they charge you a lot of money, and there's a lot of people they want
buy it.
Yeah, because they want that little edge, whatever. But
and supplements have their place. Knowing what you're deficient in, maybe what you don't get enough of in your diet. They can help bridge the gap, which is the whole point. It's a supplement. But they're not like all problem solving, the answer to all of your problems. Right?
in the early days, when I first started my fitness journey, I was on all of them. I was on everything. I had a pre-workout, I had the intra-workout, I had the post-workout, then I had the protein shake, and then I was spending stupid amount of money. Made no difference. No difference in anything. Nothing.
I know. I remember when I used to always have protein too, which we always have protein now. But, I always made it a point, like I had to have a protein shake right after my workout. And now I'm like, fuck that. I'm eating a meal.
Yeah.
I
just time my meals.
I don't want a protein shake. I want to eat.
Yeah. And I remember when I first started, like, listening to some of the old heads that have been in fitness and bodybuilding and stuff forever. They would just say, none of these guys take this stuff. Focus on real food. Eat real food when you can. If you can't, then do like a shake or something. But it's like none of these people did pre-workouts in the old days. Nobody had this stuff. Like, they ate real food and they exercised.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, it can't be that. Well, turns out it was.
Yeah. I think with the supplements too, we also see kind of playing into supplements, but medications, right, for fat loss.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that people shouldn't, use medications if it's warranted or whatever, but, using it as a crutch. They see, we have the GLP-1s right now that are a big thing, and everybody and their fucking mom is getting on Ozempic or Wegovy or whatever. And, it's making it hard for people who actually need the medications for diabetes to actually get the medication that they need. But, they're not understanding that the GLP-1s, like, they work for fat loss because they make you eat less, which if you really have a struggle with like eating, you probably should go to therapy too.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying don't take the medication, but you should probably go to therapy to like get to the root cause of that and work through those issues. I'm sure there's some trauma somewhere along the lines that needs to be sorted out. But, they reduce the amount of food that you eat, which makes you eat less calories, puts you in a calorie deficit, and bam, weight loss happens, right? But if you don't also strength train and eat enough, this is problematic. And a lot of people are reporting like huge amounts of muscle loss.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a trendy thing right now. And I think that we're still seeing what like the long-term effects of this is going to be.
The pharmaceutical companies making bank on this right now because it's all over the place. All the celebrities are doing it. And it blows my mind some of the people that are on this. And we're not talking about very large people. I've seen a lot of people that just started and want to lose like 10 pounds. I'm like, what? Like, seriously, you're going to take this shot for 10 pounds?
Yeah.
Like, this is just a small adjustment to your habits. Like, we could drop 10 pounds.
And I think that's what people don't realize too, though, with this medication and stuff, there's still a lifestyle change that has to happen because if you don't, like, obviously, if you're not diabetic, you're not going to be on this medication long term.
Yeah.
Like, you're not supposed to be, right? you're going to have to come off of it. And what do you think is going to happen when you come off that medication? Your appetite is going to return like full force. So if you haven't worked through those issues, coping mechanisms or whatever, like you're going to have a huge rebound. And then you don't have the habits in place to exercise regularly, to fuel your body appropriately with nutritional foods. You're going to end up right back where you were because you thought this was a shortcut. And really, like, maybe it was a shortcut because you lost weight so fast because you were so sick that you couldn't physically eat.
Yeah.
But it's all going to come back tenfold.
Yeah, they're calling it Ozempic face. Some of these celebrities that are walking around now, and they look unwell. They look very unwell, and it's lack of nutrition, lack of nutrients in their body. Like it's sucking all their eyes, and then also like, all right, so you're going to start this thing, and how much was it? Didn't they say it was like around $900, $800 for a time?
I think it depends. So I had a client who was diabetic, and she was prescribed Mounjaro. And even with her insurance, it was going to cost her like $800 a month.
Yeah, so...
And this is for somebody who's diabetic who actually needed the medication.
Yeah, and in that case, like you're diabetic and you need that medication, I could justify $9,600 a year.
Yeah.
For it because like you are diabetic, but like someone who's like, oh, I just need to lose like 10 pounds. $9,600 to lose that kind of weight when you could do it with just a few habit changes.
You could hire a coach for a fraction of that cost.
Yeah.
And get some healthy habits, like a foundation built so that you don't ever have to feel like you have to diet again.
Yeah. Keep the results. Like there won't be no rebounding off that once you have the knowledge and the tools to do it,
So, medications is another thing that is glorified that drives me crazy in the fitness industry. Again, this isn't for people who need it. This is for people who are taking it for a shortcut and they're not making the appropriate changes with this tool.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to go any more into that because that's like a whole rant. But it is something that is popular in the fitness industry that I fucking hate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like in the pills too. Same thing.
Exactly. Let's see, what else do we have in the fitness industry? Fear mongering. One thing that I can't stand is fear mongering, whether that's like, oh my gosh, don't eat X, Y, or Z, avoid seed oils, don't eat carbs, they're bad for you, avoid fruit because it's made up of sugar. Like, shut the fuck up. Seriously, there's so much. Like, if you see somebody in the grocery store and they're like, look at this label, immediately unfollow them because they're full of shit. No,
I'm with you. I'm here for it.
Seriously, right? Okay, like, does your food quality matter? Absolutely. Does it matter for long-term health? Absolutely. Does that mean that you can't ever eat a fucking seed oil? No. Does that mean that you have to avoid sugar forever? No. Yeah. Like, these things, like, again, these are all tools and every person is different, right? So how things affect me and how they affect you, like in our body, is going to be different. And anytime I see somebody that's like, oh, don't eat this, look at this ingredient list, go look up the ingredient list for a banana. Please do that because it'll give you the chemistry label of it. And you're not going to be able to read any of those ingredients that make up a banana.
Yeah.
And it's going to be scary to read, but it's a banana.
King Bob. So I watched, anyway, never mind. I'm not going to go into that.
But yeah, like the fear mongering in grocery stores and just the general, like trying to scare people.
Also, like, here we go.
To build authority.
Here we go. Like, we're going way down into like these details and stuff when many people don't know how to read a nutrition label. Yeah. Many people don't realize how much protein they should have a day. They don't realize this, that, but everything. This is one of my arguments is that they get hyper focused on these other things, but don't understand the basics and don't work on the basics. Where like, oh, I can't have this because it has yellow food dye 7 or something, and this over here has got seed oils. But like you're eating something over here is really detrimental to your health journey versus like you're just like hyper focused on these little things, but don't look at the bigger picture. Like you were talking about, like, I mean, you can still have these things every now and then. It's like not making them part of your day to day, every meal kind of habit.
Yeah, like should you be eating foods that are like mostly wholesome, like protein from the meat section, you know, organic if you can afford it, fruits, veggies, things like that. Absolutely. Like those things should be the main part of your diet. But that doesn't mean that it has to be all that's in your diet. And most of these people that are fear mongering you based on labels or certain food items, guess what they're doing every weekend?
Eating like shit.
No, they're getting drunk. They're
Oh,
drinking alcohol, having multiple alcoholic beverages every weekend. And
at the diet's not very good, but
alcohol
that's
is literally
poison.
it's literally a poison in your body. But if you only have one life to live, if you want to drink a little here and there, that's fine.
Or
It's your
they're,
choice.
or like, don't eat these seed oils, and they're turning around and like popping legal meth.
Yeah.
Getting all cracked out and jibber jabbering all over Instagram. But anyway,
Yeah. So that's a big pet peeve of mine is the fear mongering. Balance in everything, definitely eat high quality foods for long term health, but you're still a person. You're here for a short time. You have to enjoy your life too. There just has to be a balance to it.
yeah, and whatever your goal is, you can be focused on it, but it doesn't have to totally encompass your entire life. You don't have to become this fit person whose entire personality revolves around working out and stuff like that. You want to lose a little fat and get a little more active. You can do that without your whole life becoming the gym and your social media becoming the gym and all that. Like
Yeah, you are more than that.
you're
Like
more.
that's just a part of
It's just something you
your
do.
routine, Like do you constantly post about your job? Like what you're doing at work? Some
Yeah,
people do because that's their job.
yeah,
But for most people, they're not like, "Oh, another day at the office," while they take a picture of them sitting at a desk or, like, "Oh, here we go, sending Bob an email for the 5th time today."
well,
Like, these are just parts of your life and your whole world doesn't have to revolve around it.
yeah,
Um, if that's what you do for you, then fine, great. But also, your identity is more than the gym. Your identity is more than being a parent. Your identity is more than this job. Like, who are you?
yeah.
You know?
I agree with that. Now, when I'm in my journey, I documented all my stuff on Instagram. It was like a way of holding myself accountable. I was excited. This was new, and like I was trying to change my life, and so who I was going to be, I don't know. But like I was just kind of sharing my journey, and that's okay. That's what I wanted to do, but not everybody has to do that.
Yep. I mean, I was the same way. It was kind of like a journal for me and like an accountability tool because I was on this journey by myself for so long
Yeah,
that I was trying to relate, like find people to relate to that like
exactly.
understood what I was going through and maybe even help encourage others along the way. And I did that. And then I became a coach and I found my tribe of people that 100% support what I do. I don't like, we talk about fitness, but also we talk about
Life,
everything else more.
everything else. Yeah,
Like, we may hit our workouts and we're like, ugh, another Monday. Let's do it,
yeah.
like, but
Yeah, when I got into it, I like I said, I was starting over, so I didn't have any friends. So it was like a way of me trying to connect with some other people that were maybe doing the same thing, trying to change their life in some sort of way, and using this as part of a tool in doing so. And it did. I met strangers all over the world. That helped kind of cheer me on in the beginning. So that was cool.
Another thing in the fitness industry that drives me crazy is with coaches specifically, is just coaches that are way out of line, right? As a coach, we have certain limitations as to what we can do legally. Like we can legally be held responsible for things. And if you are somebody that is struggling with an eating disorder or mental health issues or extreme body dysmorphia or you have medical conditions, your coach is not the person to solve these problems for you. Your coach cannot legally help you with your eating disorders. They can help you build habits around food and things like that, but a therapist is who you need to be working with, a mental health professional to work through your eating disorder. If you have a medical condition, your coach can help you again build solid foundation of habits. They can help you with general nutritional advice like, oh, this is why we eat protein, this is why we eat fiber. Like these are some examples of these types of foods. They can help you build a routine for fitness around it, but they can't be like, oh, you have diabetes, let's make your diabetes better by eating X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, there's actually a coach that was sued for like $6 million for that.
Yeah.
Because she did do that exact thing
Exactly.
and caused harm.
And that's the problem. Is like you have to know your limitations as a coach, but also some coaches really just don't care and they will do anything to take your money. So it's your job to be informed as a potential client.
Yeah.
You know what your coach can and can't do.
I always make it a point, like with my people, is this is my suggestion. These are my suggestions. You know, take a whether it's like, hey, you have this going on. This you could try this, or this, or maybe. And I'll even recommend some supplements that they could try. I'm not going to prescribe it. I'm not going to say you have to do this. But like when there's some things when we get to things that are out of my scope of practice, like
You gotta go see a doctor.
you need to go see a doctor. Hey, we need to go have labs done. We need to, we need to have a physical. We need to see
What's going on?
see what's really going on underneath because I'm seeing these things. And as a coach, like we need to get this checked out.
Yeah. And your coach can identify things that maybe look off and refer you out. Like, hey, go see your doctor. Hey, maybe you should consider talking to a mental health professional.
Yeah.
Like,
and we've severed our relationship with certain clients at times because they needed extra help. Like, hey, this isn't the right thing for you right now.
Yeah. Like I can't help you any more than what I've done.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm trying to word this carefully, in this podcast, but we weren't the solution and they needed extra help. So, we're not the coach that's going to sit there and just keep taking money and be like, oh, well, let's keep figuring this out. Like this ain't a money thing for us. Like we want to help people. And if we're not the person that can help, we want you to get the help.
Yeah. Your coach is not your therapist. Your coach is not your doctor. Now I will tell you when it comes to doctors and nutrition, most medical doctors do not have nutritional knowledge and they will further spread some bullshit. So if you have a medical condition, you need to get your nutritional advice specific to your condition from a registered dietitian, not a doctor. Because some doctors will be like, oh, you have diabetes, eat 25 carbs a day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, no. That's a whole nother issue.
Yeah.
That falls into things that I hate in the industry.
There's a long list of these things. We're hitting on some highlights, but each one of these subjects, we could go 100 deep. Like when it's in supplements, we go 100 deep. When it comes to gimmicks and tricks, 100 deep. Coaches and the BS that they spill, some of them online, some of them doing shady things and beyond their scope of practice or just not not respectable coaching practices.
Yeah. I mean, we see stuff like that all the time come out about other coaches like asking for inappropriate check-in pictures or, inappropriate coaching tasks like the other day,
Yeah. Yeah.
somebody that we met within the bodybuilding circuit here in Tennessee, this male coach prescribed masturbation
Yeah.
in a text message.
A lot of it.
And it was an inappropriate conversation. Like your coach should not be asking about your masturbation habits or practices, Your coach should not be asking you to send them nude check-in pictures. They should not be asking you to bend over nude in a check-in picture. And you would think that this is common sense, but if you hire a coach for the first time
You have no
and
idea.
you have no idea what to expect, you think this coach is just doing their job.
Well, and like that one that you were describing about with being naked in the check-in pictures, it's like, oh, well, we need this and need you to bend over so we can get a good idea of the cut for your bikini for the show or your suit.
Yeah.
And in your head, I'm sure there's somebody it's their first show and they're like,
oh, okay.
Oh,
that makes sense.
yeah, that I could understand. I could see that.
Yeah.
I've never done this before. Maybe everybody does this. Like, no.
Exactly. So do your research. Talk to other coaches' clients, find out what their personal experience has been. Don't just take the coach's word for it.
Yeah, if you want to know the truth, talk to everybody but them.
Yeah.
Anybody but them. But one thing like you talked about at the very beginning, which is something that I hate and what makes me very difficult for me to put content out like on TikTok and things like that, is there's so much BS out there on social media of people who've just woke up one day and decided, hey, I'm going to start coaching people and making fitness information videos. And there's so much out there that's terrible. I mean,
terrible.
Whether it's whether you're just scrolling through the lives, everybody's giving out free macros to everybody. Give me your age and your weight and height and stuff, and I'll give you your macros. To this other person spitting out about intermittent fasting. Then you go to another one. This other person's selling a vegan thing, and then this other one's a carnivore thing, and this calisthenic thing. Like, it's so much.
There's so much.
And I just want to tell everybody, like, stop. Stop. Like, this one's the truth. Just listen to this one. But you just get lost in the sea of.
It also makes it hard because that type of stuff, the gimmicky stuff, is what goes viral.
That's what's attractive.
It's what goes viral because it's just like the whole oat Zempic thing. You remember that?
Oat Zempic.
Yeah, oat Zempic. It was like, oh, just eat nature's Ozempic, and it's like oats, lime juice, and
salt,
whatever. People love that shit. You guys eat it up. And I'm not saying like you guys, like you specifically listening to this, but consumers and people looking for information as a whole, because it's like this quick fix gimmick bullshit. And there is no quick fix to sustainable changes.
There's no quick fix to 40 years of not doing.
Yeah. If you've never taken care of yourself as an adult, there's no quick fix for that. Like, you're going to have to do some hard ass work.
Yep.
And that's what people don't tell you. They want to sell you on these programs because they know you'll buy it because you want the quick way out. You want the quick fix. You want the quick answer, but there is no quick fix. There is no easy answer. The easy answer is doing the basic shit every day for the rest of your fucking life.
Yeah.
And that's not fun.
Yep.
And that's why people gain weight, lose it. They gain it, they lose it. And they're gaining and losing the same fucking weight. Yep. Because you don't make those changes.
I'll drop all this weight. I stop doing that. It comes back up.
And then people will be like, oh, I'm going to do keto again. It worked before. Well, did it work before? Because you gained it all back.
Oh.
Like if you followed a program and it worked, but you gained it all back, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Because you gained it all back. You have to have the tools to carry on those results after you achieve them.
Yeah, that's actually a really common one. The keto, I lost a lot of weight, but it all came back plus some.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do keto again. Like, it didn't work the first time, man.
Yeah.
You know, you came right back. Like,
Exactly.
if you can't stick with it, like, it's just gonna keep it coming back around.
I think this was a good episode.
Just a little talky talk about.
Just a little chit chat about some things that drive us crazy. I'm sure there's more, and probably after we record this, we'll be like, man, we should have talked about that one. So if we do, we'll have to write them down, and there might be a part 2.
Oh, I'm sure there's a part 2 coming. Like, as soon as we say bye-bye, like 18 things are going to pop in my head that I should have said. So
I'm just glad that you were here today.
Me too.
And you actually participated.
Almost called in sick, but
yeah, I'm going to need a doctor's note.
Yeah. Can't trust the doctors. Let my dietary nutritionist write you a note.
So
had some seed oils. I'm not feeling too good.
Anyways, if y'all are listening to this, we would love to hear from you. What are some things in the fitness industry that you actually that drives you crazy? Like, you can send us a message on Facebook, Instagram. Our Instagram handle is phoenix.transformations. You can hit us up in the Facebook group, Macros, Mindset, and Muscles for Women, or you can go to our website, transformwithphoenix.com, and there's a little chat box. We'd love to hear from you. Like, what are some things in the fitness industry that drive you absolutely crazy?
Or what's something in the fitness industry that you thought was true, but tried it and it turns out it wasn't?
Yeah.
You know, I feel for stuff. So
yeah, I think we all have.
Yeah.
And I think being honest about that and being able to say, like, yeah, I used to believe this and I learned that it's not true.
Yeah. Good episode.
Great
I'm glad
episode.
you're here. I think you're about ready for promotion. Senior producer. That's what
Producer?
Producer.
Producer.
What's wrong with me?
I don't know. Anyways, all right, y'all. Like we said, check us out. You know, hit us up on the website. Tell us your thoughts, what things that drive you crazy. Don't forget to check out the blog on transformwithphoenix.com. We have been releasing 1 blog a week, sometimes 2, written by myself and Coach Leanda. We're trying to bring y'all some helpful information in written form because we know some of y'all love to read, myself included, instead of listening to things. But that's all we got for today.
Glad you were here.
Glad you were here.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Macros, Mindset, and Muscles. Until next time,
I'm James.
I'm Brittany. We're out.